All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Monday, January 22nd. We got a healthy-sized NBA slate to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, we're going to go through each and every one of these games. I'm going to give you my lean on the spread, give you my lean on the total. We'll talk about any player props I like in the games as well. But as always, all of my final plays, if you do want to do the opposite of what I say, those plays are going to be in the pinned comments. So I'm actually rolling with myself. And yesterday, I told you guys I didn't really like the slate, right? But nonetheless, we go 3-0, and we're bringing out a friend that we brought out recently as well, the Money Gun, 3-0. Let's go. We hit the Nuggets and the Wizards under. Cash it. We hit Jamal Murray, his under PRA, got kind of close at the end. Then we hit the Pacers, Suns, under 248.5. Easily, guys. All three of those are pretty easy. Jamal Murray made us sweat a little bit, but nonetheless, a 3-0 night. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button for that. Let's talk about the ride of the day here. Yet again, I don't know what Jacob's special powers are, but second time in a row he's picked someone that was a late scratch from the game. So no news on the ride of the day today. Jacob's gotten 2 shout-outs now for 2 guys that haven't played. But Jacob, last chance here. If this guy gets ruled out, we may have to hop to someone else. But use your hashtag ride of the day in the comments. Hopefully this guy actually plays because it's actually kind of crazy. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, you just got to use hashtag ride of the day in the comments. We're jumping on board with one person's comment, giving you a shout-out in the next video, win or loss. If you win, we keep riding with you, right? So Jacob won originally and then went with 2 picks in a row, 2 days in a row. Guys get ruled out before the games. It's like, wow. That's like a superpower nonetheless. But nonetheless, guys, go ahead and use that hashtag ride of the day in the comments. Like I said, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I anticipate we hit 50,000 subscribers today, which is just pumping some damn crowd noise for that. Geez, 50K. So you know what? Maybe we hit it, maybe we don't. But I think you guys are, are strong enough to get us there today. So appreciate the hell out of that. But let's go ahead and jump into game number 1 here. There's a few bad games on the slate today. Honestly, we're starting with one of them here. We got the Sixers taking on the Spurs. Sixers 14-point favorites. The Spurs, obviously not a very good ball club. Though they had been covering a lot recently, in their last 10 here, they're 8-2 against the spread. They haven't really covered against really good teams. The good team that I would say is one of the only good teams that they've played in their last 10 was the Celtics. The Celtics beat them 117-98. They're 14-point dogs. I see that being a similar spot for them today, especially with the Sixers here at home. So I'll lean towards the Sixers. I don't think it makes its way into my final plays just because it is such a large number. I don't want the backdoor chance or anything like that. So probably stick away from that as a final play. In terms of a total, I don't mind looking at the under. I hate taking Sixers unders because of how efficient they've been playing, but this Spurs team just struggles to score. They've only hit their over in 3 of their last 10 games here. By the way, that's not all that much, and they've hit under this mark in 2 straight games, whereas the Sixers have gone over this mark again, but are they going to need to score a bunch, or could they rest their guys at the end of the games, that type of thing? So I'm going to slightly lean towards the under. And a player prop I don't necessarily mind in this spot is going to be Jeremy Sohan. Over 0.5 3-pointers made. Now, when I say I don't mind it, that's kind of as far as I'd go to try and convince you. He's hit this in 10 straight games. Now, he's only taking 2 to 3 shots a game, but he is shooting 40% from beyond the arc, which the dude's not a shooter, right? We know that. I could just see him potentially being able to make one. Also, looking at Wemby's 3-line as well, I don't think that he's going to be really a guy that wants to necessarily mix it up down low with Embiid. So for plus money, you can get him for plus 126 over 1.5 3-pointers made. I don't mind that either. But again, both of those are don't minds. If I were to be honest right now, which I usually am, right? I don't think that anything in this game truly becomes a final play. All right, next up, we have a matchup that we just saw recently too here. Detroit taking on the Bucks. Detroit covered last time. They were 13-point dogs. They end up losing 135-141. So they do keep that game close. And shocker there, right? This is a Milwaukee team that is literally so bad against spread. The 4th worst team this season against the spread. Even the Pistons are a better against the spread team than them. Now you can make the argument that, well, yeah, the Pistons just get huge lines, whatever, right? Like they're both not great against the spread. Milwaukee is the better team, but 12 points seems like a little bit too much for me on the road. So again, I'm going to lean towards the Pistons, which we leaned that way in the other game. We didn't make it a final play because, again, knock, knock, who's there? It's the Pistons. but I still don't mind, a slight lean towards the Pistons in this spot. It's more or less, I guess I could say, like the fading of Milwaukee minus double digits, right? Like Milwaukee, in theory, last year's Milwaukee, or when Milwaukee plays good, like they should be beating this team by 15 points. Just like we talked about the Sixers potentially cleaning up the Spurs, right? But Milwaukee just hasn't been that against the numbers. So give me the Detroit Pistons here in this one, plus the 12 points. Keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if it makes its way into being a final play. I don't feel like it will, because at some point Milwaukee's going to say, all right, we can't just hang with this team twice, right? And Giannis is going to go Giannis, like something like that. But anyways, in terms of a total here, I don't mind this one going up and over. We saw a high-scoring game last time they played. Milwaukee obviously pushes the tempo here. They're not playing much defense, and based on what we saw last time, I think obviously the Pistons aren't going to play much defense, so I'll go up and over in this terms of a lean here. Now, player prop wise, I don't mind Jalen Duren over double here, so over 0.5. I lean that one. Last time they played a couple nights back, and he didn't get it, but that almost makes me feel a little bit more confident about this game, because there's only been one other time this season where he had back-to-back non-double doubles, right? So I do like the spot for Jalen Duren. The dude's a beast. He's going to get the minutes. Is the matchup ideal with Giannis and Brook down there? Not necessarily, but I do think that he's going to get tons of minutes and tons of opportunity here for both points and rebounds. All right, guys, before we continue on with the slate, I do want to talk to you about Outlier. When I'm talking about looking at these player props and their trends and everything like that, you don't have to look any further than Outlier. You can go to their prop screen. You could set your odds to whatever you want from minimum odds to get some actual, worthy stuff over here. So we'll set it to 133. We can dig through and look at this. Okay, DeJounte Murray under, 37.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He's hit it. He's only gone over once in his last 10 games here on the season. He's gone under in 86% of games. You can see how the other team does against shooting guards. This is a really, really cool tool, guys. And the best of all, you can literally look at the odds comparatively and just place right from here. You can either do it on your phone, or this will take you right to your browser and allow you to place it in your bet slip with one click. I don't know if we're logged in as of right now, but boom, if we were, you could literally put your money in there and boom, you are good to go. I seriously recommend checking out Outlier. I have a link in the pinned comment. You get 7 days free. You want to try for 7 days and say, all right, I'm not paying for it, go for it. The worst thing that can happen here is that you try for 7 days, the sleazeball route, thinking you're only getting 7 days, then you're out, and you're going to fall in love with it. And by the way, guys, it's only $19.99 per month after that, which is a very manageable price tag for the power of this tool. And last thing about it, the one thing that I think Outlier has over everyone is the fact that, you can go on there and browse around. You can even come to me and be like, hey, I think that they could add this, and add this. And I've had multiple talks with the guys over at Outlier, and they're like, yeah, those are good ideas. Let's get those in the tool. We want this tool to be the best. That's a pretty damn good deal. So, you could even have some feedback on the tool, and maybe one day that thing comes into the tool and comes to fruition. So go ahead and check it out, guys. That link is in the pinned comment. 7 days free over on Outlier. All right, next up, we got the Cavs taking on the Magic. This line, honestly, kind of smells like a trap here. This Cleveland team's been playing good basketball. They've covered in 4 straight games. They've won 8 of their last 10. They've won 7 straight. Though the competition really hasn't been there. Like, they've played Washington twice. They've played Brooklyn, San Antonio in there, Atlanta. So it's like, I get that maybe they've had some easy competition. I don't know if I really trust where Orlando has been or is at as of right now either. Now, Franz Wagner's back. I told you guys that I was kind of waiting to trust Orlando before, until after he comes back, which he's back. And they get the win against Miami a couple nights ago, which is, good win on their part. They were 1-point favorites. They win 105-87. Really wish we made that lean a final play. Actually, not a couple nights ago. I think that was yesterday, right? Yeah. So it's like, this is a Magic team that should be getting back to full strength, but I'm going to trust the propulsion in the direction the Cavs are going here. I'm going to lean Cleveland here, in essentially a pick'em spot. So give me Cleveland on the money line. Total sitting at 215.5. Seems a little bit low, but I can get why. Like, this Cleveland offense, I told you guys in the last video, or 2 videos ago, that their offense has seemed inconsistent. One day they're scoring 130, one day they're scoring 109, one day they're scoring 117, the next day they're scoring 110. So where I thought they kind of had, and I even know like a week and a half ago I said that I like how consistent this Cleveland offense is, that's when they were giving you 115, 117, 113. It's like really, really you could peg them well. Now they're kind of varying, so I don't really know where to go with this total, so I'm going to trust what the bookmakers have done here and set it really low, and I'm going to lean towards the under ever so slightly because, again, this is a line that, they're not really budging either. This line opened up at 216.5, and it's done nothing but go down to 215.5, 215 in some places. So give me the under in this spot as well. Player prop wise, nothing jumps off the page to me in this game. If anything, comes out of nowhere, we'll leave it in the pinned comment. You guys can see it, but I don't think that we end up making any player prop plays in this game. All right, pick your poison with these two teams. We got Toronto taking on Memphis. Both teams not playing ideal basketball whatsoever. But I'm going to lean towards Toronto in this spot. I think they're a little bit more put together. I still believe Jakob Poeltl's out, but, when we talk about injuries, if you're going to compare injuries to these two teams, everyone and their grandmother is out for Memphis. So don't really trust them as a ball club right now. Their starting lineup: Conchar, Kennard, Williams, Jaren Jackson, and Tillman. Williams is playing, better than people thought. Jaren Jackson's still the only constant, future guy on that team. But Toronto's starting lineup doesn't look all that bad, right? Quickly, Trent, Barrett, Barnes. Then you get to Jonte Porter, which, that should be Jakob Poeltl, but he's out. But nonetheless, they just have better constant players in the mix right now that have been playing with each other for a while. Even RJ Barrett has been playing with some of these Toronto guys longer than some of these starters on Memphis due to injuries. So give me the Raptors here, minus the 7.5 points. It's a lot of points to lean as the Raptors, who are just not a consistent team. So this probably stays as the smallest of leans, to be completely honest. Now, the total sitting at 227. This is something that I can get behind and can potentially see a final play coming and being the under here. I don't necessarily envision a lot of points being scored in this spot. You talk about pace. Neither one of these teams excels. And obviously, just given the fact that they have issues injury-wise on the Memphis side of things, I don't know where their offense comes from. Their points as of late have been pitiful. 94, 116, fine. Give them that. 103, 96. They've scored under 120 in 7 of their last 10 games. That's a lot. Toronto's defense, though, has been kind of struggling, but it's been inconsistent. Maybe they have a decent night tonight. And last time these two teams played was 116 to 111. So I wonder where the books got this line from, right? But nonetheless, give me the under. And I already kind of talked about personnel in this game. Don't really love it. So I'm going to lean against any player prop play in this game. This is a waiting to get burned if I'm making player props in this game here. So if you have strong player props in this game, more power to you. I just can't get behind any player props in this game. Next up, Minnesota taking on Charlotte here. This is another one of those, just like the Sixers and Spurs, where it's Minnesota should get the job done. They're at home, but the number is just so large here. I still lean Minnesota because obviously they are the better team, and Charlotte is nothing to be trusted. Only Atlanta being a worse against the spread team than them this season. They're 15 and 25 against the spread on the road here. Not looking all that great either, 7 and 14. So it's all right, this Charlotte team's fadeable, right? We know that. That shouldn't be, breaking news to anybody. Minnesota at home, great team as well. So I'm going to go ahead and lean towards them. In terms of a total here, 222. I think Minnesota shuts down Charlotte. It's a matter of, does Charlotte bring any defensive, edge here, because this Minnesota team can easily hold Charlotte, I think, to 100 points. But is Minnesota going to go and drop 120 on their head? Could be. I'm going to say I'm leaning towards the under, but that could be a situation in which, Minnesota's defense shows up. Charlotte's defense does not, right? In terms of player props here, I'm going to look at LaMelo Ball. I keep telling you guys we're yet to make it a final play, but look at LaMelo Ball over PRA again. Yes, this is a very good Minnesota defense. We just kind of talked about that, but the dude has been hitting this, since coming back. So obviously he gets injured in November, comes back, 10 days ago, has 4 games, and he's hit the over 33.5 PRA in every single one of these games. Now, looking at his head-to-head against Minnesota, last time he played them was February last year. He had 32 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. That's pretty damn good. I don't mind his points plus assists either, because he has been crushing that line when he does it. Now, he's had a couple big rebound games since coming back, but I do kind of trust his assists, obviously, more than his rebounds. So I could consider that over 27.5 here. We talked about it last time, right? He's averaging so many. I think it's 15 potential assists since coming back. So that's enough to go ahead and get a decent amount of assists, right? So we haven't made it a final play. I've leaned it pretty much every game since he's been back, but we shall see today. Maybe it's different. There is blow-up potential, so some of these overs could be a little rocky, right? Next up, Dallas taking on the Celtics. Looks like Kyrie's on the injury report. No kidding, Kyrie Irving pops up on the injury report in a game against the Celtics. Weird. But yeah, give me the Celtics in this spot. 3 points. Like I keep saying, I'm only afraid of the Celtics in these massive numbers against the spread. Like yesterday, they didn't cover against the Rockets, right? They ended up winning that game by 9, but they were 11-point favorites. So, but I'll lean towards them again. The only thing on the injury report right now is Drew Holiday. In terms of no rest situations against the spread, Boston's 4-3 this season, so it doesn't really deter me all that much. Now, I will obviously admit they're way better on the at home than they are on the road, but this is a Dallas team that, it's not like they're a world-beating team. We like them really early in the year, but they've kind of faded a little bit here, and with rest advantages, so pretty much, being the non-back-to-back team against the back-to-back team, they're only 2-5 against the spread this season. So if this number was any bigger, maybe we'd second guess, but I like the Celtics here minus the 3 points. Total sitting at 240. Give me the over. I mean, the way that this game is going to go is that Dallas at home is going to try and establish pace. It's going to get off to a fast start. Boston's probably going to make some good stops, but the minute that snowball gets rolling of fast-paced basketball, I think Tatum, Porzingis, Brown, they're all going to be there for it, and they're going to be excited about it and go score a bunch of points. So I'll take the over 240 in this spot as well. Now, I think there's a lot of player prop opportunity in this game. I really do. I like some of Kristaps' numbers. His old team, sort of not a revenge spot, but he did used to play for this team. Obviously, this is a guy that can go and score a bunch of points at any given time. And Dallas, it's not like they really have the biggest inside presence or threat. So give me Porzingis. I also don't mind Tatum. His lines are going to be absolutely juiced because he's Jason Tatum. But, both these guys being able to score at the rim, I don't necessarily mind at all. So I like some of their props. Both of those guys have a viable chance of, PRA, PR in the pinned comment. So keep an eye on that because I do like those spots. I had Phoenix taking on the Bulls here. So Phoenix on the back-to-back. In terms of what we're looking at from them, I do think that this is a team that they should be able to beat. The Bulls on the road, not a team that I want to trust. I've said that kind of all year long. The Bulls kind of went on a hot streak, and, I guess a lot of that could come at home, but they were just playing good basketball. They may be back to just kind of like playing some iffy basketball now, because you'll notice if you look at their home versus away splits, like it could be a different team, right? And they haven't really played anyone good in their last 9 games or so, or 8 games or so, whereas Phoenix has had a mix of good teams, bad teams, good teams, bad teams. They've won 5 straight games. This number isn't alarming to me either, as weird as that is when you look at it from the Bulls' perspective here. The Bulls, have been kind of dinking and dunking around this line, covering it in 6 of their last 10. But, so is Phoenix in terms of what we're looking at. I think Phoenix is actually in 7 of their last 10. So this line's kind of spot on from where the books come from, and it's a reason it's there, even on a back-to-back for Phoenix. So I'll take Phoenix in this one. Now, player prop I'm looking at, we'll get to the total in a second. A player prop, I don't mind Kevin Durant's under 6.5 rebounds. My only concern is that the Bulls let up a decent amount of rebounds to the power forward position, which is what Durant's slated in. But if you want to call him a small forward, which I don't know if we're just like splitting hairs here, they're a really good team in preventing small forwards from getting boards. And in his last 7 games, he's only averaging about 9 potential rebounds here. For him to get 7 of those, he's had to grab, tons in terms of a percentage of his potential rebounds. In those last 7 games here, he's averaging, I believe, let's see, we just had it up. He's averaging grabbing 70% of his rebound chances, which is super high. So it's tough. He'd need to grab like 80 to get that 7 number, but it's a slight lean in this case. Now, like I said, we'll get to the total. In terms of what I'm looking at from a total here, I don't mind looking at this game going over. I know I just talked about how, Phoenix could play some defense, or the defense come out of nowhere yesterday, and we liked their under, right? So it's like, okay, fine, I hear you. Like, I understand if I sound crazy now, being like, well, now I don't think they're going to play defense, but they are on a back-to-back, and Phoenix, in terms of back-to-backs this season, 4-2 to the over. This Bulls team plays super slow, so it makes me a little worrisome about this play, but yeah, give me the over here. Again, the Bulls have been kind of up and down, but when they're winning, or at least I should say when they're staying within games, right, and they're keeping them close, they scored 122, 116, and 125 in their last 3 close games by my definition. So I like the over in this spot. All right, guys, before we get to this, if you are still watching, go ahead and comment 19. We're about to hit the 19-minute mark in the video. Cannot thank you guys enough for all of this support this season, the NFL season, everything like that. The fact that we're almost at 50,000 subscribers, It's absolutely mind-blowing to me. Like, yes, I knew we'd get here because we've been grinding our asses off for years and all that, but it's like, to be actually at 50K feels like a huge milestone, and I'm super appreciative of it. So appreciate the hell out of everyone that has liked, commented. Even if you're a guppy leaving hate comments, still helps the engagement. Or if you've subscribed, like, appreciate the hell out of that. Bought some merch, fademe.store. Everything has been awesome that you guys have been able to provide. So yeah, go ahead and comment 19, guys, if you made it this far into the video, and that signifies that I know that you heard this. Thank you, because I mean it from the bottom of this big old gut. Seriously, thank you so damn much. But we got the Kings taking on the Hawks here. This one's fairly simple to me. Again, don't like the Hawks against the spread. We've said that, you know, all season long, as is everybody. It is a big number, so we probably end up staying away from it, but I'll go ahead and lean towards the Kings in this spot. Now, I know we brought up that DeJounte Murray example for his under 37.5 PRA. I don't mind that, but only if you can get it on DraftKings. Under 37.5 PRA on DraftKings for plus 110. Bet MGM at minus 110. Caesars at minus 103. I don't necessarily love the line because even though he's hit the under 9 of his last 10, he's come damn close, and this is a Sacramento team that allows the most rebounds to opposing shooting guards, the 10th or 9th most assists to opposing shooting guards. Points are where they, you know, play better, but he's a really good scorer, right? So it's like, all right, little worrisome there in terms of what we're looking at there. But nonetheless, I don't love the matchup, but I do think the trend speaks for itself, and you can get some plus money. So that was a player prop that I looked at immediately, so I kind of tipped my hand by using that as the outlier example. Some more player props, so I guess we could say we don't mind in this spot. I don't mind some Sabonis looks. Sabonis has been kind of a hit or miss player because his line's always going to be super high. Why wouldn't it, right? But for example, his points line is 20.5. His last 3 games, he had 21 points. He's hit 22 in 2 of his last 10. Like this guy doesn't always go off. But against the Hawks, I like the matchup. Last time they played, which was just about, you know, a month ago here, he had 25 points against them. When it comes to points, rebounds, and assists, he came up just shy, but he had 10 boards, 7 assists, and 25 points against the Hawks. This Hawks team allow plenty of you know, points, rebounds, and assists to the big man position. So I like his spot to just have a bunch of volume as well. So there's a player prop on both sides. Now, in terms of a total here, as our last sort of lean of the video here, I'm gonna look at the under. Yeah, I know it's kind of crazy. This is a Sacramento team that, you know, we've talked about at depth this year in terms of how different they can play. Like, they'll have games where they go absolutely off, and then they'll have low scoring games like when they played Philly. It was like 110-93, right? I envision this game being a low scoring game. They're well rested here. Atlanta, their defense has been terrible, obviously, but if you look at their last 10, like, the defense hasn't been all that bad. Why? Because their pace has slowed down tremendously. So from the outside looking in, Atlanta, last 4 games, 99 points, 104, 108, and 116 allowed. And their offense stinks too. 99, 109, 106, 109, 95 in their last 5 years. So it's really interesting to see this different, I guess you could say, different type of Atlanta team as of late. Maybe they're choosing to slow it down because of how bad I guess they are. But yeah, I shouldn't even say pace. It's more or less efficiency. They're still playing with fast pace, but they're just missing shots and everything like that. So I don't mind the under 236 here because this Sacramento team, like I said, is kind of, you know, tricky to peg in terms of what Sacramento team are we going to get. Are we going to get the top half pace team or the bottom half pace team? But 236 seems kind of high. We've had some really good luck with unders as of late. We're going to lean in that direction. Guys, that is going to wrap for today's show. Hope you guys did enjoy. Like I already said, thank you guys so much for all the support. Don't need to go into that again, but appreciate the hell out of all that. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.